Welcome everybody. This is Mike Klingler coming to you with the Bitcoin Wealth Building Strategy number 2. For those of you who have followed what I've been teaching over the last 4 months, I was focused on the first Bitcoin building strategy. This is completely different. I had mentioned that I will be sharing new strategies as the industry evolves, and I am moving into a strategy I'm extremely excited about that I've been testing. I'm going to be showing all that to you. It's actually moved beyond Bitcoin wealth building and into other cryptocurrencies as well. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit today for those of you who don't know what I mean by that. First, let's address, for those that are brand new, what's going on with Bitcoin, right? It's foundational. And it's really important. And those of you that are knowledgeable about this, just sit tight with me because I've got some exciting stuff to share with you. But foundationally, this is the granddaddy of them all. And it's sitting right now at over 16,000 at the time that I'm recording this here in early January. It's really important to understand that, we got expert after expert after expert. I mean, people that have proven themselves in their fields saying that this is going to go to 1 million, 500,000, hundreds of thousands. And many of them that are really, talking up Bitcoin and its potential and how far it can go are saying it's a bubble. And I think a lot of people misunderstand that. The internet boom in the 90s and early 2000s was a bubble. When the railroads came in and expanded the United States out west and facilitated things like the gold rush, it facilitated all kinds of bubbles where people made fortunes. There are good bubbles and there are bad bubbles. You want to be involved with good bubbles. Those are developing industries that explode because there's so much excitement, so much innovation, so much opportunity, and people just flock to it. And it creates this feverish excitement, which gets ridiculous every time, but that's what fuels the innovation. That's what fuels the investment, like the internet boom. That's what fueled all the investment into Silicon Valley that created all these opportunities, and many of them were junk, but some of them were gems. And even the junk ones at the right time during that bubble made fortunes for people. And that's where we're at right now with Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin is at its infancy still. And it's really important to understand it's going to skyrocket way beyond this. You're going to just be just kicking yourself if you don't take advantage of it. Even if you have a low threshold for risk, you should take your entertainment money and at least squander it on something that can make you a fortune. And if you have a higher risk threshold, you have a real opportunity more than any other time in your life to not just make a fortune for your lifetime and beyond your wildest dreams, but future generations as well. It's absolutely incredible. It doesn't take long to see what's going on here. You have expert after expert after expert in all these different niches and fields saying that there's merit, validity, and they're not just saying that about the blockchain, but also about Bitcoin. Now, of course, there are people that are naysayers about the Bitcoin. These guys are all saying there's lots of merit to it that we're looking at now. But let's talk for a moment about the people who represent banks, or some of the banks are also talking up Bitcoin. But some are saying, right, it's a Ponzi, or it's not valuable, it's a scam. And yet they'll say the blockchain is amazing, it's going to transform everything in our economy and everything about how we live and work. That doesn't make any sense. They're saying that because they're jockeying for position. They're late to the game, and they're saying it because they want to knock down number one. Now, remember when Yahoo was number one with the internet search engines? Then Google came along. You remember when Microsoft was the dominant player and beat out Apple early on, and then Apple kicked their tail in the end. That could happen to Bitcoin. So some of the naysayers in that sense can be right, but that doesn't mean that Bitcoin is valueless. That doesn't mean that Yahoo was valueless. That doesn't mean that Microsoft was valueless. It may have a different role than it does today, but right now it is the champion. Right now it is the leader of the brand, and it's all you really need to know. If you understand, and you don't need, there's no one really arguing out there that knows anything, that the blockchain technology isn't going to change our lives. Once you don't even have to understand exactly what it is, just to see the experts and the magnitude and the scope of it all, and to realize Bitcoin dominates the brand. There you go. Doesn't mean it will dominate it forever, but what it means is you definitely need to take notice. And like I say, if you have a low risk threshold, you definitely should be involved on some scale with your entertainment money, at least, If you can't do that, then you can't take advantage of any significant opportunity. It's just plain that it's that simple because it's so in our faces. You see Bitcoin machines popping up all over the place. This is what I get pictures sent to me every day of a new one that someone sees in their neighborhood. I haven't ran into one yet here in Portland, Oregon, but I know they exist. But they're cropping up everywhere, all over the world, including the United States. You just put your cash in and you get Bitcoin. People say, well, you can't spend it anywhere. BS. I have a BitPay Visa card. I've got Bitcoin in it. It's really easy to put it in it, and I can spend it at restaurants. I can spend it online. I can buy airfare with it. I can buy clothes with it. I can do anything with it, anywhere that takes Visa. Groceries, you name it. Gas, I can spend my Bitcoin everywhere. It's seamless. It's simple, and I've turned thousands of people onto it, and there's millions of people around the world using it, and there are a lot of countries way ahead of the United States, by the way, that take Bitcoin in a lot of other forms, but you can use this simple card, and thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of people you can absolutely spend Bitcoin, so that's bogus. What I want to talk to you about are how to set things up on autopilot where you're leveraging the expertise of organizations that are experts in investing into these incredible opportunities, not just in Bitcoin, but with cryptocurrency, and to leverage that. And they're using what's all called ICOs and arbitrage. And for those of you that kind of know some of this stuff, just stick with me here. I want to explain this to those that don't know what this is. Really quick explanation of arbitrage trading. So you understand where the money's coming from. Like, how can you make such huge returns, ridiculous returns, life-changing returns in a year or a month even? How does that happen? Well, here's one example. It's called arbitrage trading. This was a snapshot that a friend took of me because it shows this so well, of a news station that was reporting this. It was showing the Bitcoin prices as of 10:50 a.m. on this particular date, which I think was December 17th, or I believe it was recently. And these are the different exchanges: Kraken, GDAX, Gemini, and these are the different prices of Bitcoin at the same time. So there are organizations that are experts at this stuff, and they have the administration team and the ability to move money around very quickly and to sell Bitcoin at one exchange very quickly and buy it at another, and they're just printing money. And it's absolutely incredible. So, they own a lot of, for example, looking at this screenshot, they own a lot of Bitcoin, let's say at Kraken for 17,212. Let's say they own several $1 million worth of Bitcoin there. They can just sell it, cash out, and then buy it immediately within the same nanosecond, because they got the setup for it, at 16,957. So now they've just printed money because they just got a bunch of extra Bitcoin. And what you have to understand with arbitrage trading is there are thousands of cryptocurrencies trading across hundreds of different exchanges, and sometimes the spread is much bigger than this, and they're doing it constantly all day long, just printing money, and there's no risk. It's insane. This is what you see. This is the kind of thing that you see in any major developing industry throughout history, these little niche opportunities that they don't last forever, but this is such a the magnitude and scope of the transformation taking place right now across so many different niches and fields has created this global massive representation of historically everything we've seen when we saw major innovative changes in economy and so forth, but on a massive scale. And so this is going to go on longer than we've ever seen in terms of having this unique opportunity, but it's just one of them. Arbitrage trading, practically no risk, huge sums of money being made. If you can lend your Bitcoin to these experts, it just gives them the opportunity to make that much more money. To do arbitrage trading with, and they can pay you sharing some of those huge returns back to you. I'm going to show you how to use a simple platform online where you can set it up on autopilot and access that. Something else I'm going to show you before I get into this, and I'll wrap this up here real quick, and then we'll educate you on all this stuff in my emails. But real quick, check this out. There's also ICOs. This is Inc. Magazine. Look at these returns. 8,294% in a cryptocurrency called Quark. This is all just 2017. 13,000% in Fastcoin. 8,000 in Mediterranean Coin. 75,000% in Kryptonite Coin. 823,750% in Dubai Coin. Let's get out the calculator on that one. This is all in 2017. This is Inc. Magazine reporting this. If you started with $1,000 and invested it into the Dubai Coin, Just give you an example here of what's going on so you understand where the big returns are coming from when I show you what I'm showing you with the simple strategy on autopilot. Where's the money coming from? This is where it's coming from. Let's say someone, and this people did this, everyday people, and there are people who invested $1,000 into Dubai coin. I assure you, it's happening all the time. What would that be? Times 823,750%. They got $8,237,500 with their $1,000 investment in the same year. And in many cases, people are seeing these extreme returns within weeks. Why? How? Well, you got to understand what's happening with the blockchain. You have to understand how innovative it is. It's not just applying towards Bitcoin or Litecoin or to be used as a currency. The blockchain technology is a whole new way of exchanging value and interacting in the economy. So everything that we do to exchange value, from buying tickets to events, to buying houses and real estate, buying music, and even these creative new concepts that we've never thought of before, kind of like how the iPhone, and when you get out the iPhone, there's these little tools and apps and things that we couldn't have dreamed up before until the technology existed. That too is happening, where these cryptocurrencies are inventing new solutions to things that we didn't even know we had problems around. Like, it is so massive and so extraordinary, and I think that's what people have a hard time understanding. It's so big that it's opened up these kinds of opportunities to make these kinds of returns that are insane, historically speaking. So your average ordinary person is coming in and actually making these kinds of returns, but to sit behind the computer all day and to research all these different cryptocurrencies and to read they're called white papers, we got to read all this stuff and study all this stuff and see what people are saying about them. It takes a massive amount of time. So what makes a lot more sense is to lend your money, set it up on autopilot, lend your money to organizations that know how to invest into the ICOs, can set up the arbitrage trading where they're making these fortunes constantly, trading across these different platforms at the same time of day, just making fortunes trading because the price is different between these different exchanges. Invest into, or lend to them, let them invest for you. And by the way, that's what makes it not a security, because you're not doing the investing, you're lending cryptocurrency, not fiat currency, and they're able to trade and make these incredible returns in cryptocurrency, pay you back in cryptocurrency, and then of course, if you want to, you can exchange that into US dollar or fiat currency. You don't have to follow all of this just to understand what I'm sharing with you is between the ICOs and the incredible returns that people are making there. You can go to Google. Let me pull up something else here real quick. You can go to Google and type in top ICO returns 2017. I mean, look, here's another article, 50,000% returns. Like, it's endless. It's absolutely ridiculous. Here, ICO, here's Business Insider. Ever heard of them? Average returns on cryptocurrency ICOs, 1,320%. You can do your research on this stuff, but the thing is, you don't need to understand it perfectly to take advantage of the strategy that I'm going to be showing you. I mean, that's the powerful point here. I want you just to see enough to understand why it's so massive, why the money's there, why the returns can be so significant. And then I want to show you a simple strategy that anyone can take advantage of. And if you have a low risk threshold, then just use your darn entertainment money. But with your entertainment money that you waste every month on movies or whatever you do, you can literally end up being able to pay for your kids' college education, or paying off massive amounts of debt in a very short period of time, or you're retiring early, simply because you're tapping into incredible opportunities that are, that the human race has never seen before, quite frankly. And it all makes sense, and it isn't all pie in the sky sounding crazy if you just take a look closely what's happening in the cryptocurrency industry. Just do some searches on ICOs, just get a feel and a sense for it so you get it, and you're not susceptible to the people who don't. Okay, so come on in, enter your name and email. Right now, pivoting from a strategy that I was using into a new strategy. The industry's shifting. I keep you current on what I'm doing. I've been testing out a second strategy that's absolutely incredible, and I'm going to share that with you. But whatever you do, don't wait till you understand everything before you start learning something. That's, I think, my big point to you. And really what I'm wanting to get across is it's a really unique chance to create the lifestyle you want. But my point is, I'm just a regular guy who was committed. For those of you who know Robert Kiyosaki, he taught about the cash flow quadrant. I was committed to getting into the B quadrant. I did that many years ago, where I was able to, in the B quadrant, you're a business system owner. I learned how to set up systems where I could walk away and have cash flow coming in and create the lifestyle I want. Most people are stuck in the E quadrant, as Robert Kiyosaki taught. You have a job, not a lot of flexibility there. You can't make much there. Some people move into the S. They own their own job. They're self-employed, but it's not much better than the E because they work more hours. And again, not much wealth there. I was fortunate enough at a young age, to read books like Robert Kiyosaki wrote called The Cash Flow Quadrant, to study these concepts. And I moved very early into the B quadrant. I learned how to create systems, create cash flow I could walk away from. But I had a really hard time getting into the I. That's the investor quadrant. That's where the big money is, but more importantly, where you have incredible lifestyle and opportunity. It's very hard for people to break into the I quadrant. I was not able to do it with traditional, trading options and so forth. But with cryptocurrency, just in the last few months, I haven't been able to break into it fully. I'm right now using a business system still, which I will lend to you. I will let you, I won't even make you pay for it. I'll let you use for free the same business system I'm using to generate huge sums of money by being an educator of all of this stuff. But you don't have to create the videos, you don't have to create the system, you just use mine. But more importantly, I want to help those of you who want to break into the I quadrant. I've been able to generate incredible returns in a very short period of time in the cryptocurrency space with my first strategy. I'm now moving into a second strategy. And my goal is to completely move into the investor quadrant where I don't even have to have business systems anymore. I'm completely just operating on investing in cryptocurrency and making multiple seven-figure incomes per year. Because I'm used to seven-figure income. I'd like to have multiple seven-figure income in the I quadrant. And there'll be a few of you who want to come along for that as well. But just tapping into the business system that I'm setting up for you and showing you the simple strategy I am in the I, even if you're just making a little being, six figures or, tens of thousands of dollars if you have a very low, risk threshold, that's amazing. So that's what I'm inviting you to learn. And again, you don't have to do anything now. You don't have to invest in anything. Just learn about what's going on, learn about this strategy, and then decide what you want to do. Enter your name and email, come on in, and I'll see you inside.